Hey everyone, Prestito here. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking a bit about the BTC ecosystem. Everything from stamps, SRC20s, BRC20, runes, just everything in general, how things are looking and the outlook for it. As you know, the BTC ecosystem has gotten its fair share of hype in the past with things pumping an insane amount, and it's still doing decently well. So I'm going to be covering these different ecosystems and my thoughts on them and what to look out for. And I'm going to be starting off with the one I'm specifically very bullish on. As you guys know, I was one of the first to cover SRC20s and stamps. And they've proven that they are here to stay because you can see the prices have pumped quite significantly in the past week. You can see stamp is almost back to 100 sats. It's actually touched all-time high again, which is really amazing. So with regards to SRC20s, if you guys followed me early on, Kevin and Stamp were the first ones that we minted. Kevin was the first SRC20 released, and Stamp is the most widely adopted one. Obviously, it's the best name and it's the most hyped. So those two are the kings of SRC20 in my opinion. If you're looking to have exposure, Stamp and Kevin are definitely the top picks. Then of course, with Stamps doing well again, what's going to be very interesting to look out for is for altcoins, so to speak, on the SRC20 ecosystem. So with that, there aren't many out there at the moment. Of course, there's lots that are minted and died that won't do much, but there are some early ones. For example, Viva, you can see Sato as well, STMap. These are all ones that started really early on that could be worth getting into. But the ones I do recommend getting into are ones that have very active teams. To do that, you can just simply click on their pages, go to their Twitter and see if they're active or not. So for example, in this case of Sato, we go to their Twitter. We can see they're still posting. As you can see, November 18th, they posted, but not much since then. So that's not too great, to be honest, to look into if they don't post that much. If we have a look at STMap as well, that was one I also covered really early during the minting phase, which you could have printed really nicely on. We can see they are still indeed really active, which is really good to see. So that could be one to get into, especially that the volume is very low, the price is really low. Then what you'll do is you go on OpenStamp and you just search STMap, for example. And you can see here the volume is quite low. The price is still really low. Market cap's only 700k. Has potential, of course. Then some other ones I also really like is the usuals that I've spoken about a lot in the past. Like Viva, they're also really active. On Telegram is really active. My opinion, #1 artist in the ecosystem. Very low market cap, no volume. Of course, that is the risk with these SRC20s, especially the alt ones, is that it just doesn't pick up. Also, Boba was an OG coin, which also has no volume at the moment and very low in price. The same thing for Pizza. These are just meme coins on the ecosystem that are obviously very degen. But the best ones, of course, like I mentioned, is the usual ones of Stamp and Kevin. Also, another thing to note in terms of SRC20 is the exchanges. Of course, you have OpenStamp, which is leading the way. Then you've got Stamp, which is the first one listed on actual exchange, which is trading on KuCoin, which has the majority of the volume, and that's doing very well. And then you have a StampScan, which has kind of died off recently. You can see the volume there is very, very low. So the two main ones are OpenStamp and obviously KuCoin for Stamp token specifically. And obviously there's speculation whether Kevin will be listed soon on exchanges or whether Binance will list Stamp. As you know, Binance recently tweeted about Stamp, posting some more information on it. So that's very bullish. That's what triggered the pump actually, and I think Stamp can see a lot more attention. It could be listed on Binance. That would be huge for SRC20s because obviously people are going to be looking at the next ones, and if that happens, I think Kevin is going to fly as well. So it's worth looking into the ecosystem in general. One thing also to note is the actual stamps. So you get the SRC20 tokens, and then you get the stamps themselves, which is sort of like NFTs. Those haven't gotten a lot of attention and the volume is pretty dead on those. Obviously you get the OG pass, which lets you get into sales on OpenStamp, but the volume has been pretty dead. They haven't had many launches recently, so I don't think at the moment it's something worth looking into. I think the SRC20 tokens are where it's at. So that covers pretty much everything about SRC20 is also one last thing to note is to keep an eye out for new mints. And that is not at the moment. I don't think at the moment is the time. But I do think once Stamp gets more hype, if it gets listed on Binance and Kevin starts getting more traction too, and the alts pick up a bit, then it's time to start looking at new mints. Because then the new mints are where you can really print. Obviously, it's a free mint. You get in that and then you can print big. Obviously, follow my channels. I'm going to be posting about that if I do find more information on new mints and everything like that. Then if we have a look at BRC20 tokens, of course, I'm going to compare everything, but you can see total market cap of SRC20. It doesn't really show you, but Stamp is around 82 million market cap at this price. So it's still got a long way to go, obviously. Obviously, there's a lot more BRC20 tokens, but you can see in general, they did take quite a dip and they didn't recover that much from the dip. And I think that could be related to the fact that runes are gaining a lot more hype. You can see they recovered very well from the dip, and market caps also soon to overtake the total BRC20 market cap. Obviously, the top tokens here, Audi, OG of BRC20, Ordinals. Another token which I personally think is promising is Bitcoin Wizards, 100 million market cap. Could go higher, but obviously is still really risky. Here's Bitcoin Wizards. As you can see how it's performing. I think it can easily surpass all-time high, especially when the BTC ecosystem gains a bit more traction. You can have a look on Unisat where it's trading. Also, you can just simply click on markets and see everywhere it's trading, with the majority of the volume on Unisat, where you can go here and click on Wizard, and there's where you can trade it. Also, in terms of Ordinals, Magic of Eden is also a leading platform in terms of trading volume and so on. Some other tokens which I think are promising, other Ordinals rather, is Bitcoin Puppets and Based Angels. Bitcoin Puppets has the highest volume quite consistently. And then Based Angels is also a really promising one. Here you can see Based Angel Ordinals, and here the Bitcoin Puppets as well. Then also really interestingly, there's not that many AI projects on the BTC ecosystem, but one of those is this ALU token. So this also doesn't have that much volume, but it is really promising since it is AI related in the BTC ecosystem. So if the BTC ecosystem gains hype, obviously AI is super hype at the moment, then it can really take off. Here is their Twitter if you want to check it out, and their website, which I must say is very, very impressive. So that could be one worth keeping an eye on. So now moving on to runes, we can see, as I said, market cap almost surpassing BRC20 market cap. You can see the top ones here. Dog Go to the Moon, almost 1 billion market cap, which is insane. Some other ones I'm quite bullish on. Pups World Peace, also really bullish on that one. Also $1 billion cat. Gizmo is also interesting. Cypher I'll be talking about a bit more. Zbit as well. Bitcoin Bro Bear and Seiko Hamster. These are ones that I've looked into specifically and find quite interesting. Obviously, it's all very risky still, but it is getting a lot of traction, so worthwhile to look into those. Then, of course, you get the good old Runestone NFT, which has quite died off in volume, but it still actually has its use case. And if you go to Unisat, you can see the floor price is about $800 for that. And there's still some projects which integrated. For example, Bitcoin Pulse had a free allow list, and their mint is coming soon. And if you held a runestone, or if you hold a runestone, then you would be able to get on this allow list. So there are also still some benefits to that, not as much of course as previously, but definitely interesting. And then also, as I mentioned, Cypher Genesis is also AI related token on the BTC ecosystem, and the price seems like it could be a potentially good entry. It's not that high market cap. So this is, like I mentioned before, with AI hype and BTC ecosystem hype, and specifically this one being on runes, it could be a really interesting one. So that covers my video on the BTC ecosystem. Hopefully you guys found it valuable. For me personally, since I'm an OG in SRC20 and stamps, it is my favorite pick of the lot. I think it's got a lot more potential, and I think it's still earlier than runes and BRC20s in terms of getting in new opportunities with potential more pro gains. So hopefully that does play out. Make sure to stay tuned for future videos. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram. I always post and I'm very active. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.